Otakuology podcast with Otaku Mike Engine Graves.
Konnichiwa. Okarina nasai. Koko ni betsu no episode ga ari amasu. Donjon Meshi. For anybody that doesn't know that was basically Japanese for hello, welcome back to the show. Here's another episode of Delicious in Dungeon for you guys. I had to do that one. I had to do that special for you.
I wasn't expecting that whatsoever.
Well, I think we may have to start calling it by the Japanese name because it rolls off the tongue.
Really?
Donjon Meshi.
Okay.
No, I was sitting here thinking about it while we were talking before the show, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make somebody's day either really good or really bad. Because remember the last time we were talking about on Usagi Pajimbo? And some guy was like, I can't believe how long have you been reading manga or watching anime? How is your Japanese so bad?
Yeah, he said I needed to learn Bushido or something like that. I can't remember what he...
Well, and that's asinine because Bushido is the way of the sword. So
I don't remember exactly what he said.
Way of the samurai. So yeah, I looked it up and I was like, yeah, this first O word right here after Konnichiwa, I'm not going to get that shit.
I was like, I'm from Texas and I'm a white guy.
Ocarina Nasai.
I even brought this up on Usagi Pajimbo the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a white guy. I'm going to mispronounce every Japanese thing. Probably.
I'm just a white guy.
I'm a white guy from Texas.
What more do you want from me? I'm going to mispronounce.
I mispronounce English. English words. So what do you want?
How about this one? Hola. Buenos des nuevo agege otro episode de Delicious in Dungeon.
Was that Spanish?
Yeah, except for the Delicious in Dungeon part. Yeah.
Well, we are talking about episodes 9 and 10 of Delicious in Dungeons today.
This is true.
I feel like we say this all the time, but man, I feel like we got a good episode for you guys today.
Right, and the worst part is I hate that.
Why is that?
I hate that because I'm like, everything needs like a down episode, and almost every episode of Delicious in Dungeon has been like this really good upbeat episode. I'm like, fuck.
Well, I mean, we could probably be a little critical with episode 9, maybe. I don't know. You know,
we can be critical with episode 9 on the clothing because it's called Delicious in fucking Dungeon, not Delicious in my clothes. Okay.
You mean episode 10?
No, wasn't it the first one?
Because episode 10. Oh yeah, the vines. Yeah, you're right.
Remember, and they did the thing at the same time, and it was like, I'm gonna make clothes, and I'm gonna cook.
I was thinking of the frog thing.
That's what I was thinking of.
And that's episode 10.
Touche. You're not wrong. I'm just confused because there were tentacles all over this mess. Like even
there
worse
were a lot
like
of tentacles. A lot of tentacles.
Even worse than a tentacle-based hentai. Okay, they was everywhere.
You're not wrong about that. There were so many fucking tentacles.
Oh, I fucking know I'm not wrong.
I'm surprised we didn't get like the fondling tentacles where they would like fondle like the women or something.
Oh my god, right?
Because in before we each episode they have like a disclaimer like, oh, there's violence, there's nudity, whatever. I think I've seen maybe one half naked chick, and that was the mermaid. But other than that, I haven't seen any fan service whatsoever.
Oh yeah, she was half naked.
Yeah, she was like half naked, but her boobage was covered by her hair.
Oh, that's true.
Her hair covered
See,
her boobage.
I've been reading interspecies reviewers, and there is no coverage on that. So,
No, none whatsoever.
so for sure.
Which I'm still waiting, you know, for like some fan service, some like titties or something, you know, some jiggle, or you know, I don't know, a nip slip or
What are
a
you talking?
fa-
We've already gotten some jiggle whenever they jiggle the food.
Oh, that's true. But like, you know, like
Jiggle
you,
jiggle.
or like maybe somebody trips and falls into a pair of nice boobies, you know.
It's
But
still
we don't.
resistant dungeon. Let's just
I,
face it. He ain't gonna happen.
I know. I'm just perpetuating stereotypes within the Japanese animation.
You're perpetuating it in fantasy based manga.
Yeah,
Always happens.
totally. Which I want to talk about later. When we get to episode 10, I want to talk about something that I noticed. But we'll get into that later. But right now, we're talking about episode 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 9. So we're kind of coming off of episode 8 with this because we're still with the
water
grilled meat.
thing.
We're still with the group. The group from episode 8 that walked down, which is Tansu's group, or what's the girl's name?
Namari.
Namari, yes, the female dwarf.
Namari, the female dwarf.
Yep. So it's kind of like her group that they have.
Yeah, she got hired by the gnomes.
Yeah, Tansu.
The Mr. and Mrs. Tansu.
Yes.
Which I just gotta say, I hate this fucking gnome. I hate him a lot.
No shit.
He's a fucking asshole.
The weird thing is, like, reading the manga, like, I didn't think that. Like, I was like, oh, he's okay. And then, like, I watched the episode, I'm like, this guy is way more of a dick than I thought.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what in the manga, like, geared me off for him to not be that way, but, like, I'm watching this, and I'm like, what the fuck is up with this guy? Like, I'm not even in this world, and I want to beat his ass. I mean, he's just a dick about everything.
I think for me personally, it was because he wouldn't heal Marcel
without a price. Well, let's jump the gun a little bit.
Okay,
and we'll do this, and then we'll come back to this beginning part.
Okay,
what did you think the first time when he's like, an Undine is an elemental spirit that us gnomes have been in contrast with these elemental spirits since the beginning of time. We'll be okay, Namari and whatever the twins are. Let's go. And he starts going, and the Undine is like fucking pissed. And he fucking pushes Namari in front of him, and
he doesn't push her. He pulls her because she is behind him.
And it like the Undine like fucking like, oh god, like elephant rifle like goes through her
puts a fucking water bullet through her head.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my fucking god. Like I was like, like we went there. I was like, goodbye, Namari.
Hey, that was your appendages going into holes that you wanted.
I mean, that's true because it was a water tentacle, kind of.
It was, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
And it wasn't a hole that you expected. It was straight through the forehead.
True. She got her brains all blown out, and they got all on that gnome guy.
Right, but that was fucking gruesome.
Oh,
that was gruesome as shit.
That was so unexpected.
It was, and like
I was like, what the fuck?
I know we've had death and like other things in this, but it hasn't been like so bad as that. Like even when they're killing a monster, I don't feel like it's been that bad.
No,
but whenever this moment happened where Mr. Tansu pulled Namari in front of him, and that happened, I was like, nope, I'm done. Like I don't know. I might need to take a break.
And he kind of like ducked behind her too, and he basically used her as a human shield.
He did, yeah. I mean, it was like, I think this has got to go down as like my most gruesome like thing that's happened in this so far.
I have to say, because I had to look this up.
Yeah.
I had a hard time telling if Namari's voice actor was a man or a woman because of the way the voice was played.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was intentional, or whatnot, because I know women can have like a very wide range of voices,
Right.
I
Well, and
think of
especially dwarves. So,
yeah, yeah, I think of like Monica Rial, who can like do like a really high voice and like a really like deep gravelly voice.
Right,
But this
right.
one I couldn't tell, so I had to look it up, and it's a woman, and she's a non-binary woman, which is it's cool. She's a
Okay.
voice actress.
We'll see. And I thought this was a man that was doing it too.
I did too at first.
So,
I thought it was a man at first.
I was like, this has never tripped me up as much as like with
I
Cowboy
know.
Bebop and Ed. Like,
I know, right?
or a girl. Like, because like I
Yeah.
know that character's supposed to be a girl.
Yeah.
But this is a very masculine voice coming out of
Very.
her.
And I wonder if it's because it's like a dwarf and, maybe
I don't
dwarves have
know. Like
deep
when
voice.
Namari spoke, I was like, man, like she put Senshi to say.
Yeah, it's like, I talk like this,
Exactly.
You got to use those.
Exactly.
You got to use all dwarf weapons.
Like somebody's grandpa, like after he puts in like some dip or something, like that's exactly the voice. Like, and he's been smoking for years. Like that is exactly the voice that I thought that this was. Threw me off.
But yeah, so Laios and the group meet Namari again, and apparently it's only been a week since episode 1 to episode 9. It's been a week so far.
Right.
Which that's crazy to think about because I don't remember how they track days within the dungeon.
I don't think they do.
Namari does.
Chilchuk has to.
Probably.
Because they've been talking about how fast they've had to get down there to get to the dragon.
That's right. I remember now. But yeah. So Laios makes a deal with Tansu. Or Tansu? Is it Tansu?
Yeah, Tansu.
He makes a deal with Tansu that, he'll help him out, but he has to basically help Namari out. No, help Marcel out in return. And what Tansu and his group are trying to do, if I remember correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they're looking for Elvish writing within the dungeon itself to figure out the dungeon.
So let me expand on that because you're not wrong. They are trying to find
circles. A particular like magic spell, right?
Yeah, there's a particular magic spell they want to know, but what they're trying to do is go through and learn all of the magic circles that are in there.
We kind of learned that at the beginning of next episode.
Right, because they know that all of these things are somehow related to it, but they think, and they looked at them and they thought maybe like they would have found it by the point that they got to, but they haven't found it, so they're pretty sure that resides with the
Mad
keeper
Mage?
of the dungeon. Yeah,
the Mad
Which
Mage.
Now we have a name for for the Mad Mage, because before that we didn't have a name for them either.
Who is the Mad? What's the name of the Mad Mage? I must have missed that.
No, the Mad Mage.
Oh, the Mad Mage. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because before we didn't have a name.
Yeah,
they were just.
I thought you meant like their first name, which is like Dale the Mad Mage.
Oh no, I don't think they ever get an actual name.
Oh, okay.
But we have this. We have where Mr. Tansu is an asshole, and all that. They want to get past this area. All that. Of course, he's got to worry about Namari and all that. He ends up, bringing back Marcel.
Well, later on, he brings back Marcel.
Yeah, he heals both of them and everything, which we also find out that this type of magic to bring people back is actually like very rare. Like only really high casters do it. Yeah. And Mr. Tansu is basically a specialist of this. So as long as he doesn't die himself, he can basically res a party all on his own.
We also find out that there's a special magic in the dungeon where the souls can't leave the dead bodies as well.
Right.
So that's
Right.
why it's so easy to
And
heal people.
we've kind of known this for a
Yeah.
little while, but it hasn't been like thrown out in our faces.
No, it hasn't.
Because I think it was the beginning of episode 10 that we got that again.
With the other party, what's his name's party got revived several times.
Not what's his face's party, but whenever Namari went to go check with the dungeon guy on bodies.
That's what it
over
was,
there.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I was surprised we didn't see those other people's bodies up there at all. Anyway, so
that's true. Yeah.
But we do get some really cool stuff. We find out that basically Namari is like this ultimate weaponsmith.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what type of stuff is just by looking at something, by like pinching it. She knows what it's made of. She knows by what its look, its shine, whatever. And we find out that basically that this pot that Senshi has been made out of like
they called it like adamantium, but I was
I think that's
adamantium. Did they get
Holy
Wolverine?
Shit.
They got Wolverine,
right? But it's very strong, and we know that Senshi's pot and his lid are made out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we found out that how strong this is. It's strong enough, and I love this part because it reminds me of the Hobbit, where Smaug's rattling off like how powerful he is, and making the comparison. So with this, like, it's so strong that dragon's breath won't melt it.
Yeah.
A dragon's fang won't pierce through it, and I think they said a dragon's claw won't scratch it.
Yeah, I think that's really yeah.
And so like we have this power level, like it's better than a dragon.
Yeah.
And of course, why is it a cooking bot? That's the funny thing about all of it. Why is it a cooking bot?
It used to be a shield.
Yes.
And then he's like, I had no use for this shield. I needed a cooking pot.
And it's from one of Senshi's ancestors.
Yeah, it is from one of his ancestors, like passed down over time.
So, but after everybody gets rezzed, then we have our game plan. They decide that, which Marcel, even though she's still kind of sick, decides this.
You passed over the whole tentacle thing where they go to fight the tentacle monster. The ivy tentacles.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We find out that Namari she loves nothing but dwarf made weapons, and she shames Senshi because of like his armor and his axe, and he needs to take better care of all this stuff.
You didn't take care of that.
But I love the scene where they're going to look for Laios stops. He's like, "There's a monster around here." They're like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "There's a monster," because his sword like rattles, and they go and shoot like the darkness where all the tentacles are, and nothing happens because the monster is above them, and the monster grabs whatever that girl's name is who's with them. Kiki, I think her name is. I think it was like Kiki and Coco or something. I don't remember what. I think it was Kiki.
It's Kiki and Kaka, I think.
Kiki and Kaka. What's your name?
My name's what it is.
My name's Kaka.
Because they're twins.
Yeah. So like they grab her.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, they grab her, and then they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" They find out that it's Ivy, and what if this vines touch you? They paralyze you. So you become paralyzed. And Laios is like, "Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Since I have a full suit of armor, Senshi, let me borrow your helmet." And
yes, it's Kaka and Kiki.
Is it Kaka like Spanish for like poop?
I don't know.
I think it's like shit. Anyways, so like Senshi, we get to see Senshi without his helmet on for the first time, which he looks amazing. And Laios puts it on, and he goes and he gets caught up in the vines, and he ends up getting the crossbow loose. And Senshi goes to grab it. He hands it to Namari. Namari shoots, and like not kills the monster, which we find out that Laios gets paralyzed and his face is all like fucked up and whatnot. And I love
Yeah,
this.
it's like getting stung by a jellyfish.
Yeah, and Senshi grabs one of the cut vines and he's holding it. And he like cuts it and peels it like a banana. And he's
Yes.
like, "Oh, let's try this." And he like eats it. And he's like, "Oh,
And it's
this tastes
stuck to his
okay."
hand.
Yeah, it's stuck to his hand because he can't move his hand, which is the funniest thing ever. Because
Right.
this bit goes
Well,
on for quite some
and
time. And
they don't say it, but I really feel
no,
like the tentacle has barbs that do
it
that.
does. They pictured it, and it when they go into like the little diagram thing, it did have barbs that shot out.
Yeah.
And so that he peels it like a banana, and the whole bit is like he's holding this thing. He's telling people to like, oh, try this, try this piece, because they cut it into fours, and like
And each one has a different flavor,
yes,
which
and like
threw me off.
they're like, oh, I don't like this, and he's like, oh, it's kind of sweet, and
Oh, this one's sweet.
mine tastes like
This one's
vinegar.
spicy. Yeah, this
Yeah,
one's spicy.
yeah, and there's this
This
whole
one's salty.
yeah, the whole bit where he can't drop it. And like he finally gets unparalyzed and he like finally drops it. Everybody's like, yay! He's like, you know what? This might taste better if we cooked it. And that's Laos's
Right.
cue. That's Laos's word. Let's cook it. That's his word of affirmation type of thing. Like, oh yeah, let's eat something. And they do, and they make, I forget, what do they make with it?
They make stew.
Oh, they make stew. Yeah, because they go and they're gonna cook it, but they decide. Marcel decides that she's gonna eat or trap the water monster within Senchi's pot. And,
Right.
and we
Because Marcel is out of mana, which
yes,
she's technically like mana sick. She got healed, but that's basically what's going on. She ran out of mana. She's mana sick at this current moment. And that's where they talk about, okay, well, if we use two people with strength, we should be able to get this Undine. And
yeah.
so we have Senshi that has one side of the pot, and we have Namari that
Well,
has the other part.
Laos had it first, but he couldn't handle it.
Right.
But Namari handles it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which I love that scene where it comes at them to attack, and then it starts reforming right in front of them on where they're standing, and they put the pot and the lid together, and you can hear this thing like banging to get out or whatever. And they're like struggling, like they look like two bodybuilders trying to move like a 600-pound ball, and they're carrying it together, and they're just one little step at a time. Let's go. And they're going to put it over the fire and boil it.
Yeah.
And make like Undine stew water.
Yeah, because Marcel ends up drinking it and starts to feel better. And I like this scene. It's a little nice touch because, usually it's Senshi's the one who cooks the meal,
Right.
And Marcel gets to cook the meal at this point, which she makes a stew, and it looks nice. It looks like a nice little stew.
Right. And that was kind of refreshing that we have gotten a little trade going because I mean, we did have the whole thing where Senshi and Chilchuck were trying to do the thing with the mimic where they were getting the lobster part out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Chilchuck learning like, oh, well, my lockpick tools can do more than just,
I can use
logs.
it as like a chopstick or whatever.
Right. I can pull the meat out.
Yeah, pull the meat out of it. Even though Chilchuck didn't like that.
Right.
Because he's like, those tools are mine for thievery and stuff.
But as Senshi says, it's always better to have food than just whatever your plain ingredient is too. So thus we get the stew. It recharges everybody, basically like a health potion kind of sort of. Helps Marcel's blood loss. It also helps her regain all of her magic back that we know of. And all that stuff, which then we also get this kind of backstory with Namari and stuff on when she left. If she left the Tansu's party, that basically
Mm-hmm.
she would kind of be an unwanted person to join parties because everybody
Yeah.
would see her as joining a party for money.
It would be like an unsavory individual.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
There was
And
one. There
so
was. Go
she'd get
ahead.
unwanted requests for her to join like thieves parties and things like that.
Yeah.
You were saying?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So there was one touch that I did like, and it was early on in the episode
Yeah,
where, like, so they're bringing back Namari with the magic,
right,
and they Laios like makes a comment about it, and Senshi says, it's unnatural. Like, I don't like that. You can just bring back the dead.
right.
Which I'm curious if that foreshadows anything, if possible, later on.
Yeah,
Because he also mentions like several friends he used to have, and he doesn't have them anymore. You know,
right,
could they possibly be dead friends? Maybe the
right.
golems are his
It will.
friends.
Well, if they died on the outside of the thing,
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to heal him or revive him.
yeah,
Yeah, it was just interesting, like the phobia he had for like magic and like or like healing revival magic. It seemed like,
Sinchi, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I also think he doesn't like it because of like how the dungeon works. Like
Hmm.
he feels like people shouldn't come back unless they come back as a zombie. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And because everything that he does has no magic aspect to it.
that's
Even
true.
though it kind of does, it's nothing that he really sees.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah, I get it.
in that sense, like we talked about last episode, he kind of reminds me of like Earthsea, where it's, you- why use magic when you can do things with your hand, because then you get rusty if you don't use those skills.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I noticed that the first time or the second time I watched, I should say, in the
right,
my second watch through. And one thing I have to say, when I first watched this episode, because I watched the episode twice. When
yeah,
I first watched this episode, I was not a big fan of Namari. Like, I
right,
kind of feel like she messed up with the dynamic of the party a little bit,
yeah,
like by coming in. But like second time watching it, I feel like I'm a little like uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like not as harsh on Namari. I
right,
feel like she's probably coming around as a character that's okay.
yeah.
She just rubbed me the wrong way the first time I watched it. Uh,
Well, and the way I kind of see it is, let me touch on one other thing real quick. We do have where they ask about Shiro, which we see him in the opening of it, which
mm-hmm.
is the samurai looking guy.
Yeah.
And he's also a tall man, but from a distant land,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And he was in the party as well. And we
Yeah.
do have the whole part where Namari says, well, you know, she thinks Shiro is going to basically try and have a rescue party too to get Fallon because he was in love with her. And that also tells us how like loopty Laios was. Like he doesn't get social cues, you know what I'm saying?
No, he doesn't.
But in saying that, we know that, and we know with the next episode, whenever we get a little fighting strategy for fighting dragons,
Mm-hmm.
that Namari and Shiro were both kind of like in your face melee type people. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is while we do have both those characters, I really feel like the addition of having Sinchi instead of both of them is actually his comparison of both of them.
I could see that. Yeah.
Like the party only needed Senshi compared to Shiro and Namari. Which
Yeah.
the other funny thing is, if you really look at the names too, like Senshi is the S for Shiro and the I for at the end of Namari. So I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was really the thing with that, because we got this person that knows weapons and stuff, but this whole time we haven't worried about weapons,
Yeah, Senshi very much
everything.
doesn't worry about weapons at all.
Right. And then the other thing in that sense, like, Senshi almost reminds me of Goblin Slayer, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess kind of, yeah, a little bit.
if I have a weapon, I'll just fucking pick it up. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
he's like
saying?
I have everything I need kind of thing, on me. I
Right,
don't really
right.
need anything
And if this
else.
if this breaks, I can pick up another one as we go. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So I do get some of the item thing of Goblin Slayer with Senshi, I feel like, as well.
Yeah, I can see that. I can kind of see that in the next episode a little bit when we get into that.
Right.
Yeah.
So our next episode, we start out with the giant frogs, but instead of going into our party with that, why don't we talk about from where Namari and the Tansus and Kiki and Kaka actually left?
Yeah.
So we'll cover
Uh,
that part, and then we'll come back to our
okay.
party. So at the end of episode 9, we did see them actually teleport out of the dungeon back. Whatever Tansu was looking for, he did find a little something of, I guess, with the party.
He found like
Um,
some scribes or um some
yeah,
spells or something scratched into the wall.
yeah, he found that, I think, before
Yeah.
Laios and all them
Yeah, I don't know if he
left.
found anything else. 'Cause I know they did go off
Yeah,
when they were preparing the meal
right.
later on to check stuff. But I don't
Yeah,
remember if he actually probably found something off screen
maybe. Yeah,
or even
which
before this episode he found something.
I did like. We got to go back to episode 9 for a second. I
Okay.
did like where they included him at the end, where it was everybody
Oh
eating
yeah.
together,
Like here, come join us because they were
and
very
then
apprehensive to eat the food.
right, and then him eating it was kind of like his recognition of like all that, because he didn't eat the banana thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, your friend, eat with us.
Yeah, and then he accepted it. So
Yeah.
that was my turning point with Tansu, as like, oh, maybe he's coming around.
I mean, I
You know what I'm
still
saying?
don't like Tansu. I think he's an asshole.
I don't like Tansu either, but you know, I feel like him having this healing magic is what gives him the ability to be an asshole.
To be honest, I hope he dies. I hope he
I mean,
dies.
he did go back. He did go back up. If he's not in the dungeon, that means he can die, right?
Yeah, I hope he dies.
So we have that, and Namari passes out. Obviously, they go back, and we start episode 10 with Namari waking up in a bedroom.
Hmm.
Um, she was tired and passed out, and so Tansu gives her pay and everything, and he's like, "I have to go talk to the king of the island." I think it was
I think so.
something like
Some
that.
king or something. I don't remember what
And
they
then they
were.
send. He tells Kiki and Kaka basically to watch after Namari, whatever she wants to do and stuff. And they go to, it looks like a church.
Maybe like a church or like an inn or something. I don't remember what it
Yeah.
is.
And it's really more like a catacomb situation. It's one of the places that goes down into the dungeon enough where the spell still works with the bodies.
Hmm.
So if you come back to claim somebody or whatever, they're still technically in the dungeon. They're just in the outskirts of the dungeon.
Okay.
So that's why all those bodies that were wrapped up, those were unclaimed bodies.
Well, because didn't they mention like there are people that come behind to collect like the dead bodies?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you have money or whatever, you can pay to have your loved one revived. And if they go
I
back
was
down to the
kind of
dungeon,
expecting to see like what was his name, like Kabu or whatever his name was, and his group there.
that's what I was expecting to see
Yeah,
too, but that didn't happen.
that
They
wasn't the
still got to be in the
case.
dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still got to be in the dungeon. But we did get a lot of history stuff here. So we got that, yes, which we already knew. Fallon's not there. Um, with Namari double checking, and then we jump back to Mr. Tensu, who goes to see the king guy, and they find out some history, why he went down there, which we've already covered, where he went to go find these magic circles, and they're trying to find the stuff. We also have another part that kind of like ownership of land.
Oh
Which
yeah,
the
which the
sad thing
elves
is, this really seems like Texas.
the elves own
Do you get
the
what I'm saying
dungeon.
by that?
Yeah,
Like fucking Six Flags.
yeah.
Um, like the elves had it at one point. The dwarves fought back to try and take it. The dwarves took part of it. And then they lived there for a little while. Then the elves came back to reclaim it, and the tall men, or our humans, ended up helping them. And so they basically gave this land to the tall men to have. And now the elves
The elves want it back.
want to quote unquote Indian give and take it back.
That's true. They're a bunch of
So
Indian givers. How could they?
yeah, those bastards,
Just fucking Texas all over again.
right?
Yeah.
So we do know that there is a party of elves on their way. We don't know when they're going to show up because they hadn't shown up yet, but we do know that they will pop up in one of the future episodes that we will watch. It could be episode 11. So, if we wait for Thursday,
Yeah.
we might see some elves besides Marcel.
So Marcel's a half elf.
Touche.
She's not full elf. She's only half.
I couldn't remember.
Okay, sorry. I just happen to remember that.
So we get that. We get the actual name of the Mad Mage. That there is somebody that controls the dungeon, and they think that he or they were not super sure what the gender of the Mad Mage is yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know that
they have like the power. Supposedly, have the power of immortality.
Right, immortality, and that also whatever the spell is that they have is what radiates throughout the dungeon to stay alive.
Yeah.
We also have something that is brought up about how there's less treasure being spawned on higher floors, but there's more monsters that are coming out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I must have missed that part.
They said that there are more monsters moving around or whatever, and that they're coming to higher floors. And that because of that, there's less and less treasure.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense if you really sit down and think about it, because think about whenever we got to the treasure bugs, that was really the only set of treasure we found.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. Did they find treasure when they had that room full of chests? Oh, no.
The one with the mimic?
No, it was before that when they got the oil from the fire thing. It was in episode 2, I think.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, but you're probably right.
Yeah. But we have that. We have that they are trying to reach the castle, and they find going back to our party, because basically with Tansu and the king or whatever, we get all that. That's what we know. We have the history part of this, which was fine to know. We finally got a info dump part for this. It's fine, but was it as entertaining as our party in the dungeon? I don't think so.
Maybe. But
we also now are having other things. This is the part that I like. Now we have all these other things that are getting pulled in from other places. So we have where the orcs that we met on the 3rd floor have now told us this is a staircase that we went down.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of vines and overgrowth down the staircase.
Right.
Yeah.
So the party's kind of do we go down here? Do we chance it? Do we not?
What are we gonna do? And Laios we can cut our way through. It'll be nothing.
Oh my god, that was my favorite part. He like moved like maybe 10 feet and was like, "All right, guys, I think we've gotten pretty good through." And he turns around and he's like 3 steps down from the top of the stairs, and it's like,
Yeah,
"Whoa, this
and
is gonna be a long
it's
time."
I think it's like already starting to kind of grow back behind them or whatever. Uh,
I don't
but
know.
I love this
Maybe.
scene where we find out that there are frogs in the vines.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah, and
And they
this
look
whole
like tree frogs.
they look like those poison dart frogs.
Yeah.
That's what they remind me of, and they are poisonous, kind of. I think they're
Yes.
poisonous. Um, and they go try to fight them off, but Laos' sword gets stolen, and um, Marcel's staff gets taken and dropped down
I
the
just
like the shaft.
Yeah, I just have to say from a DM standpoint, these are like some really fucking great creatures because anybody else would have been like, "Oh yeah, it has to move to the stairs to you, and then it steals your weapon, then it drops it like it's 2 feet away from you or something." These
Yeah.
frogs are like, "No, we're gonna hang
Nope.
right in the middle. We're gonna grab it, and then we're gonna drop it all the way down like the middle of the chute of these stairs, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have to make it down, or you're not gonna be able to get your weapons back.
I
So
think
you're fucked."
the only ones who have their weapons are Chilchuck, and Sinchi has his weapon
Yes.
as well. And Chilchuck notices that the vine is like coming out of a trap, and
Yeah,
like
he notices that it's plump. It looks plumper
yeah,
and twisted in a different way from the other one. So he's like, there has to be a trap behind it.
yeah. And so like he goes over there while the others are like struggling with this frog because the frog has his tongue wrapped around Sinchi's axe, and
Yes.
he's like holding him, and like Chilchuck goes, he's trying to pull this thing out. They're like, "What are you doing, Chilchuck? Like, come on, help us, kill the thing."
And
And he like,
we know it's like a big arrow or a
yeah,
spear.
and an arrow goes through like the frog's head, I think it is, and they end up,
Uh but you got to remember what happened before that.
oh, exploding frog.
No, the frog was trying to do that. He released Sinchi's axe that all three of the other
Uh,
people were holding, and he went to go eat Chilchuck.
that's what it was, yeah. And he
And
tries
then
to eat him.
with the force of pulling Chilchuck, it was able to undo the vine, and then the arrow got released and went straight through the frog's head.
That's what it was, and they find out, which that was a cool scene. I like
Oh
that
my
scene.
god. Pulling out Chilchuck like,
Like,
oh my god. Oh my god. Like it makes me think about like if someone gets eaten by like a creature and they're still alive.
yeah.
Like,
And they go and they notice like, oh, like the frogs aren't getting like messed with when they touch these vines. That's so weird. So what do? They go full Silence of the Lambs and make skin suits.
right?
They make some skin suits and they put them
And
on.
they were pretty cool. I would wear a hoodie like this.
You would wear a frog skin suit.
I would wear a frog shaped hoodie.
And Marcel's like, no, I'm not gonna wear this. And they're like, come on, Marcel, we think you'll look good in it. And she's like, I don't want to fucking wear this thing. And so like they finally get through and they go to
No,
take
no.
off.
When they start complimenting her so much, she's like, "Okay, I'll put it on."
She's like, oh, you look good in this. You look cute, Marcel.
Yeah, we made one
Yeah,
just for you. It'll look
yeah.
great.
And I think it's funny, like their eyeballs are like on the top of their head, and
Yeah,
uh,
and they're sewed shut.
yeah, they're so shut.
See, I think this is the first part besides like the food stuff, which is kind of one dimensional for Laos. But I feel like this is the first one, like we know, like Laos is a good like mother figure, I would say, because he knows how to sew and do clothes and all this other stuff. And he's sitting there talking about it, and he's like, "Look, and we even sewed up the eyes; they look like little bear ears." And I was like, "I would do that shit to somebody."
So they finally get down to the bottom, and they get their stuff back. And we find out that I didn't know this, but Marcel actually named her staff.
Yes.
It's named Ambrosia? And I'm like,
Yes.
why would you name it Ambrosia?
I was shocked too,
I was
because
like, okay.
we've went through this whole thing so far. Didn't know that she had a staff name. Her staff was named something.
Yeah,
Because we did have Kinsuki, but I
yeah.
was like, so your staff is named Ambrosia. Okay. Now I'm just kind of waiting for, like, is Senshi's axe got a name?
Well, like,
Does
it's such
Chilchuck's
a
little thing have a name?
Ambrosia is such a weird name to come up with because that's like the fruit of the gods, if I remember correctly, right? Like in Greek mythology,
Maybe?
I think it's like the food of the gods, and if you eat it, you can like become a god. At least from my Hercules, Xena the Warrior Princess knowledge, that's what I know of Ambrosia to be.
Maybe.
Like if you would eat it, you get like the power of the gods, because it was like their fruit that they would eat.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
have to look that up. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I learned from Hercules, watching Hercules, the legendary adventure.
Goodness. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get down. I'll
Look
let
this
you
shit up, buddy.
I'll let
It says,
you. I'll let
I
you
can't say
Google
this
that.
word. I can't say this word.
What?
Persimmon? Persimonym?
Persephone?
No, Persimmon.
I don't know who that is.
Persimmon? Persimmon? Blah.
Okay.
Persimmon?
Okay.
Persimmon? I don't fucking know. It says that's what the fruit of the gods is.
Is it? Okay.
Oh no, here's another article that says ambrosia is also foodstuff of the gods.
Yeah.
For longevity.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Longevity, and it's what makes them immortal.
That's what it is. Okay. So we get down to the bottom, like we said, and we go into the castle. Is it Castle Town? Is where they go?
So
they end up going. They go to Castle Town, or it's like called Castle something, right?
I think it's Castletown.
They go to Castle Town, and this is like this huge city within the dungeon.
Castle City is what it's called.
Castle City, okay. And they go there, and they find out. This is where they find out where the orcs were. The orcs were, and the red dragon has been through here. And so they go to set up a plan of attack to fight the red dragon. Is what they do.
And they're going to use all the buildings and everything, and know like where to steer the dragon and everything to be able to attack it.
That's right. And so Marcel, Laios, and Chilchuck go to form this plan. We think Senshi is with them, but he's not with them at this point. And we find out later that Senshi's actually making bread later on, which is I find weird that Senshi wouldn't be with them, but it also makes me think that like Senshi doesn't really care about defeating the dragon. It seems like
I think he does and he doesn't. I think Senshi's always like, no matter what, like eat food. Food is what prepares you for life, or whatever. And so he wanted to make the bread to be able to do that. Which I mean, we did get like this bread and like frog cutlets and some other stuff that they made.
Did they like deep fry the frog?
Yeah, and I think they put it on in the bread. Maybe
when I saw this part, I was like, "Oh, they made shake and bake."
Oh yeah, that is true.
Because they breaded the frog meat.
Yes, yeah. He shaved the bread. That's what it was.
Shake and a bake.
Yeah, because he's like, we don't have an egg, but this should still work.
Yeah, this should still work, And they have this nice meal, and then we
We
find out
made
that
frog meat katsu.
oh, the dragon's here. Like, what are we gonna do?
Right. But we did get another little insight into when they first fought this dragon. The problem that they had the last time was they were also all out of energy and everything because they didn't eat.
Mm-hmm. So Senshi basically has saved them so far by
Yes.
letting them eat and whatnot. And is this where the episode ends? Is where the dragon shows up?
Yes.
Like that's where the episode ends?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So let me ask you, what did you think of these 2 episodes?
I really enjoyed them. I'm glad that we've gotten to this part where uh, we are ready for all these episodes / chapters with the red dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I
We're
mean,
moving into like the volume 2, right, of the manga.
no, we're moving into we're out on the first one of first chapter of volume 4.
Okay, I was just curious.
And then the rest of volume 4 is Red Dragon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
And then we'll get to Red Dragon 7 in volume 5. So I really think probably at volume 7 is probably where our anime for this will probably end. At least as season 1.
Yeah, which it's really interesting because they're doing like doing like 2 to 3 chapters, I believe, or something like that for each episode, right? So they're moving fairly fast
Right.
through this. Which we talked about this off air, and I was like, "Are we going to be ending this like season 1 soon, on like a cliffhanger or something?" And you're like, "I don't know, maybe," uh, which that concerned me, a little bit to hear.
Yeah.
Like, oh
Seeing
no, like
how much they're going to put on
yeah,
these together, because they could technically do like just call it Red Dragon and
uh-huh,
have part 1, part 2.
yeah.
And I mean, I
Which
feel like they might, if they do that and they do a 2-parter, I feel like they could stop at episode
like
12.
episode 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could possibly see that. Because these are getting simultaneously released in Japan as well, I believe. So like they're not like ahead of us like at all. So
Right.
like when an episode comes out, like it gets added to the list. It's like so I can't like see like how many episodes are out this season, which is it's such a tease, I would have to say, for
Yeah.
us knowing how to like spread out our episodes to like cover for the podcast.
Right.
Um,
I honestly feel like we'll have to do it like the Inuyasha Viz Bigs, where it will be either our last episode will be 2 and 2, or it'll be 3 episodes.
yeah, that'll be interesting to see where we go from
Because I
here.
mean, we're also at chapter 22, and
Yeah,
as far as the manga goes, there's 97
yeah, because I think
chapters.
14 is the last volume,
I think
right?
so too.
It's like the
Either
last.
14 or 15.
Yeah,
15 doesn't have a release date yet, though.
I do have to say I did enjoy these episodes, not as much as the last 2, but I did enjoy this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they wrap this up and where the story is going to go after this. Because obviously, with the Red Dragon and stuff, something's going to happen,
Right.
And one thing I have to mention though, in this episode, they used forks. They didn't use chopsticks. I found out, which I was blown away. Like, oh my god! Like, because in the first episode, they used like chopsticks. And I was like, where'd they get these forks from? You know,
I don't remember seeing them use forks in this one either.
they use forks when they're eating the frog.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But yeah,
was like, I don't remember that part at all.
I enjoyed this, even though Namari rubbed me the wrong way. I'm interested to see if she does come back into the party, and then we get that other guy, the samurai guy, to show up, and how they integrate them into the party. Obviously, I do have a theory. Do you want to hear my theory on
Sure.
how this season will possibly end?
Sure.
This is just my theory now. Okay, so I have a theory that they will save Fallon. They will save her, and at the end, they're going to kill the dragon. And my hope is that they
No,
eat the dragon.
no spoilers, but
They eat the dragon. That's what I hope for.
no spoilers because I know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, am I close?
I'll give you half of that.
Okay,
I will give you half of that. They do eat dragon.
okay, but do they eat
The
red dragon?
The other thing I don't want to spoil nothing for you.
Okay,
Because half of that goes into things that I don't know.
okay, gotcha. But I mean, I did enjoy these particular episodes. I would give them a 3.5 out of 5. Like a 3.5 out of 5, I would say.
I'd give it a 4.
I mean, that's good. That's good that you enjoyed them more than I did, I feel like.
I did.
Yeah.
I usually enjoy this more than you did.
But I mean, I'm still invested. I'm still invested into the story,
right,
and whatnot.
So did you have a question to ask me at the
Yes.
end of this?
So I have a question. So
okay.
This is like this is off topic because I wanted to get your reaction. I thought it was kind of funny. So hypothetically,
are you gonna relate it to Delicious One Dungeon for me?
Well, it involves food. It involves food and eating. So, do y'all have? I don't know. I'll go into it. So, like, let's say hypothetically, you're wanting to potentially date or become a suitor to like a person,
Okay.
and you want to take them on like a quote first date. Would you?
Are you asking me what I have to tell people?
No.
I always have to tell people, sorry, I can't take you on a date. I'm taken to my heterosexual life partner of the Otakuology podcast.
Let me ask you.
You're like, that blew me away. I didn't know that's what you were going to say.
I'm asking you this because somebody who listens to the podcast wanted to know.
Okay.
They show her name nameless, but shout out to that person. Hi, we are, giving you acknowledgement.
I'm giving dating advice.
Yeah, it's Daddy Graves dating advice.
Jesus. Okay.
Daddy Grave dating advice. So, would you invite that person out to go to eat at Jason's Deli for your first date?
I mean, sure. I don't find a problem with that.
You don't find a problem with that whatsoever?
No.
I mean,
really? Because and I don't know how it is in Texas. I know here, like our Jason's Deli is pretty like swanky. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, like ours is pretty swanky.
Okay, because I haven't been to a Jason's Deli since the 90s.
Really?
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they like changed up, and made themselves better. But everybody I've talked to has said no to Jason's Deli.
Yeah, you're making it sound like it's like taking somebody to Subway.
Maybe like a fancy Subway, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Ours is a little more swanky than that. Yeah.
Okay. So to you, Jason's Deli is an okay adventure to take a date on.
Oh yeah, because I mean it's more like what company you're gonna have versus like, unless you're going for the experience.
Okay. Well, for the experience, no.
No, if it's just going for the experience, I mean everybody's had shit that you can get at Jason's Deli, so
it's not like anything special.
No, loaded potatoes. I mean, we have totally different places you can get shit from there. Subs, I mean, like I don't know. Jason's Deli to me also is like if you're going there, but it's probably like really good food if like it was somebody that you want to say, "Hey, I brought you lunch." Then you
Like,
got on
hey,
Jason's Deli.
let's grab something quick to eat, kind of thing.
No, I mean like you just buy them lunch and you bring it to
Yeah,
them, and you go,
you just buy him lunch. Yeah.
yeah, I got you Jason's Deli,
So
or something
Jason's
like that.
Deli is not a bad place. That's what you're saying.
I would say no, Jason's Deli is not a bad place for a first date. Now, would I take somebody there for a first date? Probably not.
Okay, I was just checking because
Probably not.
it's been a very polarizing topic in the world of Otaku Mike's work on whether or not Jason's Deli is a good place to go eat at, and I'm like, I remember it not being that greatest thing ever,
Right.
but that is just me.
See, but ours is like meant for you to sit down. It's not a take and go.
Like if I want to take somebody on a first date, and we're going to dinner,
But I also think that you need to know who you're taking.
True, that's
just
true.
like all related to the podcast, just like we have to know our audience and geared our episodes and stuff towards that audience of people. You also have to be able to do that with this. Just like yours and my first date, where we went to the taco joint and you and I got big ass fucking burritos. Okay,
Oh yeah,
I knew you were a burrito guy, so I was like,
yeah.
that's first place. We're gonna go eat at the burrito joint.
You gotta
We
feel out your
did the Kahuna challenge. I mean,
yeah.
we touched tips.
We did touch tips. We touched the tips.
So I mean, and there's a picture somewhere if people want to see touching tips.
I think it's on our Instagram. I know it's on my.
I think
Instagram.
it is too. I think it's farther down though.
Yeah.
So I mean, go check out whoever's Instagram it's on. You can see that picture. But yeah, I think you have to like know your person better. Is it something that said person gets on a regular basis? Like if they're a soup person, why am I going to want to take them somewhere where we're going to get soup? You know what I'm saying? Versus like, why not take them somewhere where you can get like ramen or a fancy joint where maybe we're trying a bunch of stuff on the menu.
I was gonna say,
I mean, to me at this point too, like if you go to like a low grade sushi place, that's more of like a cafe place too. Like, do I really want to impress somebody with that?
I have to say, so we've been trying new places around town.
Yeah,
like Tiffany and I have been trying new places around town, and there's this new place.
That's Otaku Tiff, if anybody knows.
Sorry, Otaku Tiff. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Otaku Tiff. We've been trying new places.
Become a wrestler?
I don't know.
Otaku Tiff. She's gonna come and she's gonna beat your ass. She's gonna jump from the top of the ring.
Ooh yeah, the cream rises to the crop.
Otaku Tiff pities the fool.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I feel like at some point, when she listens to this episode, she's gonna do that, and y'all are gonna be out, and just randomly, she's gonna be like, "You're gonna be like, this is pretty good food." She's gonna be like, "Otaku Tiff disagrees." I'll hit you. And she'll do it when you least expect it and catch your ass off guard.
I pity the fool.
You'll be like, she'll take you to Jason's Deli and mid you drinking your soup, like slurping it out of the bowl. She'll be like, Otaku Tiff pities the fool, and you'll just you squirt. I mean, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. No, but like, there's just one place we got to go to, and I tried. It was really good. It's called Marfa Texas Kitchen.
Yeah,
it's like I took a picture and posted on my. I got a steak and fries, which is oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. It was delish. We got to go there. Like I know we got a bunch of places to go to when you ever eventually come down here.
We do. We do have a bunch of places to go.
Yeah,
too many places to go. Like I may have to take off work for a month.
Maybe
just go to all these places.
Yeah, but anyways, thanks for listening.
Same. I got a lot of places for us to go too when you come back. So,
thanks for listening, people. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You can check us out on our Instagram. Reach out to us on there. That's the best way to talk to us.
Right.
Remember to rate and review the podcast.
Anybody that listens to this that does art, you listen to the podcast and you know how to do art and you've done any Delicious in Dungeon, hit us up.
We could use some fan art. Would I be Senshi? Obviously, I'll be Senshi because I have the beard, right? You can be Laios.
Hold on. When was the last fucking time that you saw my face?
I've seen your face recently.
I mean, my beard's like 2.5 inches long.
You can't connect it, so it's just like a chin beard.
Hey, whatever. Fuck you, buddy. My hair's longer. Oh, my hair everywhere is longer than yours. Okay.
My hair's pretty luscious at the moment. Just saying.
Luscious and long are two different things, buddy.
It's luscious and it's getting long. I need to get
How far does the hair on your head go?
It goes to my ears.
Oh yeah, see, I got you beat. Mine's
it's fine. It's whatever.
Mine's like a third of the way down my back. So.
But my beard is longer than your beard.
Whenever I take my stuff off, my helmet off, I look exactly like Senshi with his crazy hair before he gets the Kelpie oil in it.
Okay. But anyways, make sure to share the podcast, rate and review the podcast. Leave us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts it's called. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read your review on the podcast and tell you thank you and we appreciate you. It's the best way to help the podcast grow.
Maybe we'll even invite you on the podcast.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe you can be a guest on the podcast.
Guest star.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll catch you everybody later, guys and gals. And what do we say to them?
Well, side note.
Okay.
R.I.P.
Akira Toriyama.
Yep, there you go.
There you go, yeah.
With that, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Peace out. Stay safe.